of these keep flashing.
Hello, and welcome to episode 55 of On Second Thought with Mike and Matt. I don't know what Matt was talking about, but we'll just skirt by that, and welcome to the show. Now, Matt, I don't know how many of our listeners go as far back as the 40cast, but if some of them can remember when
I do.
I can't remember now if the administration asked us to go to the Hermit Nation or if we went to the Hermit Nation and then we needed the administration to get us out. But either way, back in the 40cast days, we found ourselves in the Hermit Nation, North Korea, perusing around town and trying to be unifiers, peacemakers. Right?
Yeah. I think we did good.
And there is another situation that we have been called into, which explains our absence of the last week or so. You know, for people that haven't been paying attention, the pontiff and the president have been quarreling.
Correct.
And they didn't know who to turn to, but they turned to the Purveyors of Peace. And thank God there's not an acronym for that. And it explains our, where we've been for the last week. We've been called behind the scenes to mend fences as former, Catholic school students. We'll use that term lightly, students. And who better than the Purveyors of Peace to try to bring, once again, be unifiers.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up too much, Mike. But, in all honesty, the Iran-United States talks peace treaty, one of the biggest deals we brokered. Unfortunately, a giant orange man is trying to tear it apart, but we had this set to go and ready.
All buttoned up.
All buttoned up, man. Like he said, they knew our track history of providing peace, bringing people together. So we're, they brought us back in again. The Pope and the Prez, and it was just a little bit tougher situation there. But we will prevail.
Mm-hmm. One can only hope. So here we are. But here we are, back in the saddle, back in our natural habitat of podcasting. And, while we were away, we missed out on this whole space odyssey that swept the hearts and minds of the world. I haven't been too glued to things, but maybe you can catch me up to speed here as the person who had the 80s astronaut-themed NASA Lego set. You can tell me what was this all about? This was NASA going traversing around the moon. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it was a test run, for lack of a better term, to on the way back to the moon, to land on the moon, eventually make a moon base to help with the mission to Mars. Very exciting times. A hell of a mission, a hell of a rocket. So did you, at least in replays or anything, Mike, see the rocket launch and all that?
I have not. I have not seen anything.
Okay.
The only thing I've seen is some of the pictures, and I have one of those pictures now as my desktop wallpaper.
Nice.
But I did not see the launch itself. I might have seen the coming back into orbit and in the water.
Yeah, the splashdown they had.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so this is phase one of a 3-phase program. The first phase was, launching the rocket, getting the capsule out, furthest man has ever gone out in space, around the moon, and then back, the 10-day trip. The next phase, I think, is next year, sometime mid next year, where they're going to do like a docking thing, like simulate where separates the module land and comes back and it'll dock back and then shoop, go back to Earth. I think that's next year. And then 2028 is the planned actual landing on the moon again. So that's very exciting. I can't believe it took this long to try and get back to the moon and do that. Of course, other things do prevail, and I know a lot of people probably would say that a lot of this money that they're spending on this could be spent on bigger, better things for humanity. But I can see that both ways. But I was excited. I was very happy to see the rocket launch, see it go safely. I paid attention to it throughout the week on YouTube videos and that, seeing where it was out in space and everything.
No, that's why you were excusing yourself from so many of those meetings, and I was left there alone to keep the peace.
I figured you could handle it. Mike, all right, to be honest with you, okay, I can't run peace talks and maintain the fucking space travel at the same goddamn time. Okay, I can't do both. Okay, so when the shitter broke on the goddamn on the little shuttle thing, all right, I'm sorry you had to sit there alone with the people inside there and drink the tea and stuff that they gave you and the weird food, but I had to help the astronauts take a dump. All right, so I apologize.
There's that. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I remember in the 80s, space was really a big thing. We've talked on the show before how I have no recollection of being afraid of nukes, and many of my fellow citizens at the time, I guess, did have a crippling fear of being nuked at any point. I don't have any recollection of that. However, I do have quite a recollection of how frequent the space shuttles launches were. And
they were. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had the whole explosion. But I can distinctly remember my brother's bedroom. I think one of my uncles either knew someone that worked at NASA. He definitely did not work at NASA. But I don't know how he procured all these posters. And my brother's room had all sorts of fascinating
cool
stuff from around that time. And I don't even know if he was really into space. Maybe he was. But yeah, I could just remember it. And of course, like the 80s, like we just said, the Lego set from the 80s, generic space set, and would have all that, and you connect them all together to try to create some sort of moon station. So yeah, I think like you, probably there is a time and place for space exploration. That we are either the richest nation in the world, and if money was used in a better way, I think you could do both space and take care of our citizens and invest in our infrastructure, and not only infrastructure like planes, trains, and automobiles, but our internet infrastructure, things of that nature, but. I'll leave that for a third podcast I'll start, to talk to talk about infrastructure.
Yeah. I've heard, again, while on these peace talks and everything else we're doing, that somehow you snuck in a goddamn other podcast to start doing.
Yes, sir. For those who aren't aware, Los, I got to apologize to Los. I sort of screwed up the open on that show. I've introduced him from the Future Monkeys. I think I had a blank while he is that. I mean, that's like me introducing Matt from the 40 cast. I guess it's appropriate, but of course his current podcast is called The Talking Place. But yeah, Los and myself have been chatting for some time about just retro devices, handhelds. He's ordered one that I already have, and we've been talking back and forth about that. And then we casually started talking about, doing a show. But, Los is got different, younger kids than I do, and so his time to find that window of opportunity is a little bit more challenging, especially since I work a funky, like, sort of second / almost third shift. So thus we've only done one show so far, and it was like 27 minutes long, and it was on my day off, and I had to run to the train station to bring my son back to school, and we just haven't been able to reconvene again. I think the plan is when we do record, maybe to record a couple shows all at once, so we have stuff in the hopper, as they say. But yeah, it's going to be a retro show where we, talk about maybe just a certain topic. One week we'll talk about, what devices we're playing on and how we decide to what devices we want to purchase, or what systems, or maybe we'll talk about a particular, shader technique, or whatever, tinkering, or operating system, whatever we think would hold our own interest. But I think there's been some questions in the Discord about people wondering, hey, what's the best system for this, PS2 and N64, or, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe we'll talk about some stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that channel on the Discord has exploded, man. You're talking about an active channel. Wow. It is going off.
Yeah. There was a lot of discourse on Saturday, I believe, right in the midst of my work. My phone was blowing up. But looking forward to it. Yeah, the show's called Retro World Order. It's myself and Los. There's no really set schedule. This show here is supposed to be bi-weekly. We try to keep to that as best we can, unless we get pulled into other ventures like we talked about already. And we'll see what happens with Retro World Order. I imagine things will pick up more with that once Los gets his device that he's ordered, the AYN Thor, which is the sort of new hotness. It looks like a 3DS, clamshell device, 2 screens. And Bricko's got one on order too. So,
man.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, getting back to the space things, I thought the pictures were incredible. Just the advancement of technology. You think about, when we were kids, where they are now with you got some unbelievable shots.
Yeah, some of these images of the moon's surface and that is just incredible, amazing. Some of this stuff is wow. It's very cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some naysayers out there. That's not real. That's not real. That was done in Hollywood. That was done in Hollywood.
Yeah, I'll give you something real to look at.
Yeah, really, really cool shots. Yep, just shows you how small we are in the whole grand scheme of things, right? Just kind of like,
yeah, it's pretty wild. You see the moon up there, and then you saw where they were at around the moon, taking pictures back of Earth and how small the Earth, was. It's pretty wild.
What's wild to me is I'm looking at the photos here now, and it probably isn't that case, but the photos make it look like the moon and Earth are perfect, like, circles. Right? When you look at these photos, you don't see any, like, sort of like, bumpy edges. Everything looks perfectly smooth. Right?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no, like, depth. I mean, the moon, you see all the craters and everything. But yeah, the Earth, I guess, the atmosphere and everything, just way it is. It looks like a ball you buy at Kmart and bounce around like a new kickball or something.
Yeah. Even when the moon is like, further off in the distance, it just looks so circular, like someone, perfectly like traced that. Just an observation.
Bad Earthers.
Moving on to some gaming news. Most of the stuff we got here for the rest of the way is gaming stuff. The YouTube channel, Moore's Law is Dead, is got some sort of data here about 3 SKUs potentially for the next PlayStation 6.
Mm-hmm.
There is a potential of a PS6S. So think of the Xbox Series S. There could be a PS6S. That doesn't really roll off the tongue that easily for me. And then there's going to be a PS6 handheld, and then the full-fledged traditional PS6. And, he's got sort of this spreadsheet with his cost estimator. And so he's got the S, the lower tiered model, coming out somewhere between $349 and $549. Now these are big windows here. He's got a price range.
Yeah, he's got quite the range here, so no one can come back and say, "Oh, he's definitely set himself up."
Yeah. So $349 to $549 for the S. The handheld $499 to $699. And then the console itself, $699 to $999. And he's got a lot of reasons, of why the price and everything like that. And we're not an economics podcast here, so I'm not sure how much that's worth going into. But I think the larger question, Matt, is this is would be a change of pace for PlayStation to come out with 3 SKUs at launch. If we think last launch, many people felt that, what separated PlayStation from Xbox is PlayStation didn't muddy the waters. Here was the PlayStation. Yes, there was one that was digital and there was one that had a disc, but they would play the same. They had the same. Otherwise, everything else was the same in them, right? And now we got this isn't verified set in stone, but this guy is in this channel. It's not just him. It's a whole bunch of people. Pretty reliable, got a good pulse for what's going on. And if we back up for 1 second, I was listening to the Jeff Gersman podcast on one of my many morning walks. And over spring break, he was playing a Roblox game. And he said at that particular time, there was like 600,000 people playing that game. Something about brain rot or something like that.
Yeah.
And someone was saying when that game had like an update out, 1.5 million people were playing it at once. And the reason I mentioned that first, Sony and Nintendo, Microsoft, they're all trying to chase bigger numbers, bigger audiences, whether that's through cloud gaming, bringing their stuff over to PC, Xbox bringing their stuff to PS5. Everybody's trying to get a larger piece of the pie. And then when you see what the numbers that Roblox is doing for just one game, you truly understand what that size of the pie looks like. And so the point I'm trying to make here is PlayStation coming out with these different SKUs because they know if they just come out with the PS6, somewhere between $700 to $1,000, that's not affordable for a lot of people. And to sort of get a larger base of players, doesn't make sense for them to have a lower tiered model. And a handheld. Handhelds are doing well. Certainly the Steam Deck has done well. The Switch has done well. Switch 2 has done well. Is this just where we're headed now that for Microsoft and PlayStation to be viable, do they need to have their own handheld as well? So I'll pause there and, any of that resonate? You think, that this is all about trying to get more players in with different offerings?
Yeah, I do, but I think I agree with what you said before. This isn't Sony's mode of operation to do this. It's normally later in the cycle where they start releasing different models and stuff like that. but it kind of makes sense with the way things are going, economy wise and so forth, and that to put out different models. I say that, but if you're going to upgrade, you're going to want an upgrade, right? So you're going to go for the model, which would be what they're calling here the Orion console, the PS6. We're calling it the PS6, right?
Yeah.
And I could see that, $600, $700, right? Probably, what the Pro's, $750 now? So
$900.
Yeah. The Pro's $9, is it not? Yeah, it went to $899, didn't it? Yeah. So I could see, the $750, for something, and then come out with a Pro model for $1,000. I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the handheld thing is kind of interesting. If it's going to be like a handheld, like a Ally or a Steam Deck type of thing, that could be pretty cool. I mean, the Portal, that's doing bonkers right now, especially with that latest upgrade. It's an awesome little thing.
Yeah, it's just, I've been on the record before that I feel like we don't need these consoles anytime soon. No one is booting up their systems and feel like it's taking forever to load. Games look great. They're snappy. And if there's all these RAM shortages and you're going to price out all these people, and I'm not saying that Microsoft and PlayStation are rushing anything to market. Everything right now is just in the talking stage. There's no set price. There's no set release date. So I'm not going to, bury them for those things. But boy, I would have to take a long look at the calendar and go, what's best for us? What's best for our customers? And, I think the tricky thing is they have to worry about who's beating them to market first, right? That's that whole who's going to play chicken first, who's going to flinch. But getting back to this thing here, the S, if you look at this the spreadsheet this guy here has, it's less powerful than a PS5 Pro, but I think it has way more like ray tracing capabilities. These are smarter people than me making these decisions. I almost wonder if the play is release the PS6 handheld, release the PS6 itself. There's no more siloed generations, right? Everything's sort of backwards compatibility is the hotness. Everybody has to, make sure their library carries forward with them. Is the PS6S better off just being a PS5 with a deep price cut?
Maybe, but I don't see that selling.
No, I know, but that would be like you already have that vast library. You already get that die set shrunk down as best you could. The production on it hopefully would be cheaper. You could you could redesign it a little bit. Make it smaller for like the.
Oh sure, yeah, you do that, right? Make it a little more form factor and all that. But I think you and I both agree that the next PS6, the PlayStation 6, needs to be a Pro or better, right? It's got to be at that level. Oh, otherwise, yeah. What you're not going to buy it.
And I guess we're with that thinking, Pro or better. How do they sell it cheaper than the Pro? If the Pro is $900 now, and this just using your words, if the Pro is better, how many times in your life has something been better but cheaper?
No, yeah, I mean, and that could be where we are now, Mike. I mean, them days from when the PS4 came out and that at $399, those days are gone.
Some good old days you can't get back.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to see new consoles coming out at a cheaper price than what they are now. As you say, that toothpaste is out of the tube. Yeah. And there will be. I mean, we know it. We will, right? There will be people that buy it.
Yeah, I think the only way that these things get lower in price is if there's a reckoning. if there is a total collapse in the industry, people are just not buying these things because there's not enough compelling reasons to buy them, or because people like us phase out of gaming, mostly because of age, right? Other priorities, end of life, as sad as that is to say out loud. But, and then the younger generation of people who don't really care about the console, they can play their Roblox on their phone. They can play their Roblox on a tablet. They can play it, anywhere.
Right.
They don't really care about consoles as much as we do, our generation. So I think the only way these things can get, cheaper is if the bottom falls out and they have to reevaluate what they're doing. But
I do think the handhelds are becoming very popular right now. I think those are because a lot of these people, younger generation, are growing up. They're having kids, they're having babies where they can pick up and sit on the couch, with the baby or whatever, and kind of do a little gaming. This whole retro thing that you got going on is something else. I think there's something to be said about that with all that happening.
Yeah.
To pick up and go and game instead of just being tied down here to your TV or console.
That comes back to people being, so used to their phones being more powerful, right? That they can sit there and the whole double screen lifestyle.
Yeah. I've got this here where I can play and there's something on the TV or YouTube or something that's playing, right?
Or vice versa, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it all plays out. This is just early stages. Of course, Microsoft's got the Project Helix here, which is supposed to be a more powerful, Steam machine. And Valve any day now probably will announce their Steam machine price and release date. I don't know where I'm at with all this, man. I'm not ready to buy anything new. Is kind of like where I'm at as far as like these major consoles, and hopefully they get pushed down the road until they can make them at a price that's not astronomical. I think the Steam machine's going to come out. Cheaper than I expected. The more and more I listen to people, and I go, I don't agree with that, but okay, enough people are saying it that I have to say I'm wrong. I thought that thing was going to be closer to $899, and a lot of people are saying no, this thing's going to be $650 to $749, somewhere in that area. So we'll see.
I think what I want to see if the new consoles come out, is an actual generational jump. We're getting. It seems like we're getting away from that with when new consoles come out. It's more of like a mediocre jump. I'm talking about like a major generational jump to the next level type of thing. Like with NVIDIA and their graphics cards and stuff.
What I will say to that is, our 50-plus-year-old eyes going to be able to pick up on that? Because I think what has happened is 8K is out the window. No one's doing.
No,
you're never going to see 8K. I don't think. That's not where it's at. That's not where technology's at anymore. It's all about the ray tracing and the AI as far as, I think about, frame insertion and all that type of stuff, PSSR, FSR5. Those are things you're going to see in these new machines. And I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit. I think it's going to be more performance-based rather than knock your socks off visually. Like if you remember the jump from 360 to PS4, I don't know. I think that would be all subjective to people. I think the problem is people like us, we know to go into certain menus and adjust this slider here to visual, to performance, to this many frames. The average person who doesn't podcast, doesn't pay attention to the news, just buys a console and plays, 5 to 6 games a year. are they going to know to go in the menus and adjust all this stuff? You know,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just think back of all the the stuff we've gone through and seen. Going back from Nintendo to now, even Xbox to now, and PlayStation to now, is things like wireless controllers. Be able to turn on your console with just a button sitting on your couch instead of having to get up and turn it on.
You turn it on with your phone. Download games on your phone from your phone.
Yeah, right. When you're done for the night, you just turn your console off, and you wake up the next day, and your game's still there at the same spot it was. You don't have to start over. Things like this controller here with the haptic feedback and stuff. That's the type of things that really make gaming progress. Is that type of stuff that I remember back in the day talking about what do you want to see in the next console? I want to be able to sit on my couch and not have to get up and turn it on. I want to be able to turn it on from, should be able to just turn it on from here like a remote control. Sure enough, that's they're doing that now. Shit like that.
I said one thing one time, and it's come true, and I'm not all that excited about it. I said, wouldn't it be nice if you could just use your same controller? You wouldn't have to upgrade, and that's what happens with Xbox, right? You can use the same controller on your Xbox One to your Xbox Series X, but it's, how much better it feels from going from the DualShock 4 to the DualSense.
Yes, right? Quite the difference.
Yeah.
Quite the difference. Yeah.
So I got what I wanted, and I'm not happy about
it. This is by far the more superior controller for the PlayStation 5. This thing is incredible. I love it. I use it for all my computer games.
Yeah.
I love this thing.
I was when we talk about what we've been playing. I played tried to play a pretty popular game with the DualSense, and it was not supported. I was like, why is nothing happening right now? And they go, So, all right, well, we'll see. I'm not going to ask you what you would buy, what you would spend on something like that, because I think it's too early, and I think the range here is so wide that it's it's kind of a fruitless conversation. But boy, I don't want to see a $999 console.
Man, yeah, that it better be good.
Scalpers got a hold of those, and then
Then what? It better be good. You're paying that much money. I hope it's.
It better have kung fu grip.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Moving on. The new Metro game was teased. I'm not sure how familiar you are with these Metro games. Metro 2023, Last Light, Exodus.
I've heard of them. That's about it.
Okay.
Never played one.
If people can remember, I think it was during the Bad Fodder. It came out in 2019. So are we doing Bad Fodder figures then, or are we doing Gamers and Beta? We must have been doing Bad Fodder figures, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
That was before the
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the bug in Metro Exodus where enemies couldn't see me. If you can remember this, and I pretty much I remember played the whole game where they couldn't see me, and I could just kill everybody and beat them all up. It was hilarious. I found the bug to be so egregious that I didn't want to go back. And it was so funny and humorous, but game breaking at the same time. I was like, I'm just going to play it the whole way through like this because this is bad. But anyways, the Metro games. The reason I bring out a couple reasons. First of all, it's been since 2019 since we've had a proper Metro game. Partially because of the Russian invasion into Ukraine. That's where the Studio 4A is based out of. So they've been preoccupied with other things. And the other thing is, they call themselves 4A Studios for a reason, right? They sort of think of themselves as a cut above, with their technology. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. And it hasn't been revealed. I think it's going to be revealed on Thursday, the 16th. Metro 2039. These are video game adaptations off a series of books, sort of based in the first one was based in a Russian metro after nuclear fallout. And so they kind of play like action, survivor, horror games. Just because of the mutations of the nukes. There's some, scary monsters around.
Ooh.
But they're kind of, they got that sort of European jank to them. If you ever played like the Stalker games and, the Metro.
Stalker, yeah.
Sniper Elite, they definitely got that European flavor to them, which I tend to enjoy. And I'm a sucker for sort of like old Russian games that take place in places like that. So I enjoyed the Metro games. I think of Metro, the first one and the second one, like Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 2. And then I think of Exodus like Dead Space 3. I'm not sure if you played any of the Dead Space games, but Dead Space 1.
Dead Space 3. Mm-hmm.
Well, Dead Space 1 and 2 were very, again, sort of survival horror, creepy, atmospheric. And then Dead Space 3 was like more like an action game, co-op action game. And Metro Exodus was more of an action game than the other ones. And that was the open world where you could sort of go wherever you wanted to a certain extent. So it'd be interesting to see if they rein it back like the original Metro games or if they just double down on what they did with the most recent one. But anyways, excited to see what 4A Games is cooking up.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm not sure I'll be able to check it out live, but check it out on YouTube's and that later.
On the tubes. Let's get into what we've been playing, sir. We both were playing the same game for a little bit, so I think that's like the good starting point there. So you've been making a lot of progress in Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Oh my God! Yes.
I heard you ranting and raving about it on the podcast, so I tried it myself. Very, very much enjoy the story. I quickly got turn-based fatigue.
I could see that with you. Yeah.
And help me out with those characters. What are they called again? I want to call them...
The Nevrons?
No, the other ones that are on your side, but they're not on your side yet. And maybe they never get on your side. I don't know. I don't want to be spoilers there, but
Gestrels.
Gestrels, thank you.
Gestrels.
Yeah. I'm in the village there where they're supposed to be at, and I don't know. It just felt like after a while for me, like every 2 to 3 feet there would be a turn-based fight, and I think it's one of these games where I want to go back because I felt the story was so compelling that I'm just going to bump it down to story. Not that I find the turn-based difficult. I'm dying here and there for sure, but I want to get through it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that. I'll let you tell me if I bump it down to story mode. Are these turn-based battles? Do they go by a lot quicker, or are they still long and drawn out?
They're still long and drawn out, but what it does is it makes the parries and the dodges, that window opens up a little bit more to help you with the parry and dodge. The dodge is got a bigger window. The parry has got a small window. But the key with the parry is if you can parry right, then you can put a ton of damage back on the people you're fighting to make that fight go quicker. Mm-hmm. And I've learned a good build helps with that also, being able to bring down their health and that. I'm loving the game. I'm in Act 3. Like you said, the story is incredible. Where I'm at now in Act 3, like, holy shit, this is wild. A lot of stuff's starting to make sense of what's going on, and explains a lot that's going on. It's really cool. I think the enemies are cool to fight. That your characters are good. There's I got connected to one character very, very much so, and
stuff happens.
Stuff happens. I think the skills are cool. I know where you're getting at with the battles. The turn-based thing. Like, okay, you're just kind of pressing buttons and going that, but some of the skills and actions that happen in those, I find very entertaining.
I think
satisfying when you get done.
I think for me, I would just like to have less encounters.
Yeah, especially when they're taking forever, right?
Yeah.
To whittle through when it's taking 15, 20 minutes to get through a battle. Yeah, that takes up a hunk of time where you could be out exploring and doing other things. As you get further in the game, it does get better. Just your regular fights and that do get better. I'm going through Act 3 now, which is apparently where the game opens up even more after this now where I'm at. So the things that are high, get on I want to call him Enrique, but you get up and you swim with him, you can fly with him now, all that stuff. So you can travel more around the continent, go to different areas.
Oh wow!
Boss battles and shit. It's really cool. Got some good weapons. I kind of got locked down the skills and stuff I like, and my Pictos, I've got some good ones selected there for some things. So there's definitely a lot of end game content. The game's not over for me. There's some main missions to do yet. But before I do that, I'm going around doing a bunch of other stuff because that's kind of what I read you should do. I think the world is fantastic. It's very creative. It's stunning at times. One thing that does frustrate me at times, though, in the world is not exactly sure where you're going or where you should. There's many forks in the road, and you go down one fork into the end, and you got to turn all the way back and go another way. But there's always something there, though, to get or do. So there's a lot of that kind of frustrates me sometimes.
There was no map, right?
No, and yeah, there's no map. There's no map. Heavily influenced by French, French culture, so forth. Yeah. I think it's a wonderful game. I can see why it won all the awards. Something different, something fresh, something new. I'm happy with.
I just need to stick it out. Then it sounds like it's worth putting my head down and keep playing it. So
yeah, but I wouldn't kill yourself if you're not enjoying it, not digging it. Do that. Maybe look up some builds or something for Act 1 or whatever. Just I learned a lot how to use the characters and their skills, which helped getting the right Pictos and stuff, and using those. So
gotcha. Good.
Yeah.
Well, glad you're enjoying it. Like I said, I thought the story so far seemed tremendous.
It's out of this world.
Now, you've probably played a little bit more than me, but we both picked up Racoin, which we've talked about before on Steam. So this is a coin pusher game. Aesthetics are very much like Balatro. I think they have maybe some shared developers collaborations there. I haven't had a ton of time to sink into it because I've been sort of obsessed with this other game that I'll talk about. But
I want to hear about this more.
Yeah, but how has Racoin been for you?
I love it. Very much feels like Balatro. The music, the style. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the great game plays great in Steam Deck or the Ally. Just sit there, relax. It's a coin pusher game, and you got all these charms and different things you can do to increase stuff. And it's, each level you got to push more coins off the cliff to get points and stuff. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a game that'll play great. when I'm out to farm. Kick back and play that. It's I recommend it. Definitely recommend if you just want a chill game to sit back and it can be challenging. It can also be very, very fun.
Yeah, and I heard it's going to be coming to the consoles too at some point.
Nice. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
And still making progress with your MLB The Show.
Yeah, MLB The Show, and especially using the portal to play that, which is awesome. Great way to play that game. Going through my Road to the Show character, played a little franchise ball the other night with the Reds. Yeah, it's going. It's baseball. It's going good. Fun game.
And
looks great.
And your Reds have been doing okay in real life too, right?
In real life, the Reds have been doing okay. Yeah. They lost yesterday, but they've been doing okay. The one thing was here in the news, but I Power Wash Simulator, and they had some free content come out a couple weeks ago, which I went through and did. That was great. It was fantastic. And now they have the Adventure Time DLC came out for $8. I picked that up. Very colorful, very bright, more cartoony looking.
Yes, we might as well talk about it now. We had it in the news. What is your history with Adventure Time? Are you familiar with that cartoon at all?
I'm familiar with it. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I'm familiar with it. I've seen it here and there. It's a great cartoon. The DLC for this is great so far. Couple different things you can do in there. I'm doing right now. I'm cleaning out the inside of a tree house. But you got like Finn's sword. You got to clean shit like that. Just it's pretty cool. It's good. It's bright and colorful. And it's almost
good.
Overwhelming when you're looking at it.
And it doesn't have any of the characters in the game. Like, they just talk about them, right? So it's like Finn and Jake aren't in it, and Marceline and Ice King. None of those people are in it, but they're like props and stuff are there. Like
their props are there, and I guess some of their places where they go.
Yeah, it does look good. Now, I saw something in the news today that some DLC from the last Power Wash Simulator is being delisted. The Tomb Raider content and some other one is being, I guess the license is expiring, so they're not going to be selling that content anymore. So. Yeah,
I played on the first one. I played the Tomb Raider DLC, which was pretty good. It was a big DLC pack that you got. I guess licensing or something ran out, so they got to stop selling it or whatever. It's kind of weird. You hear about the other one, but
yeah, the other name is escaping me.
Back to the Future, maybe?
No, I want to say something, along the lines of like, Wizards and Warlords, something, fantasy.
Oh, something with a giant sword, huge sword. I can't remember the name of it now, but there was like a tavern that you had to clean.
Okay.
And this giant sword was in there. It might have been that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's about it for gaming wise. The weather is getting nicer, so a little more outside time and stuff. And that's where the handhelds are going to come into handy here. Sitting outside and playing stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, I have discovered a new obsession, this game called Grind Survivors. So if you've played anything like Brotato or Vampire Survivors, it's a fast-paced action roguelike, and you're kind of some generic looking like, Space Marine, Warhammer type looking dude. And you can set the gun to auto fire. And so you just, it's very casual. You can just move around with your left thumbstick. and shoot and collect gems, and then you're upgrading your character through a skill tree, and you're collecting all these weapons along the way, and you can recycle them for points, or you can infuse them together to create like one better version. So you might get like 5 gray shotguns, and you infuse them all together to get, sort of one badass green shotgun. Or you could take, 2 revolvers, 2 shotguns, and 2 SMGs and merge them all together and get some sort of, concoction there. But one of them's got to be your main gun, right? So you pick your main and then 4 other guns, fuse it together.
Watching a video of it here, it looks, yeah. I mean, you had a lot of fun with Brotato, so I could see you enjoying this.
Yeah, I mean, Brotato's a lot quicker. Like, you got like these rounds in Brotato that start off like maybe like 10, 15 seconds, and then they go up to a minute and a half. There's nothing like that in this game. This is like a 20-minute round, or until you die, and you kind of got like 3 kind of boss fights in this 20-minute round, and it's all about just leveling up, grind, like the title says, grinding, getting better loot, picking up the ashes, which turn into your skill points, and then assigning them. And you also get runes, so you can take your ashes that you earn and you can level up your character, or you can open up more rune spaces, and then those are like attributes, like, hey, now I do 100% fire damage, and enemies that are 20% or more injury automatically die, so you can equip like things like that to sort of change up the gameplay a little bit. But I have a lot of fun with it. I think it was pretty cheap. I want to say I got it for like under $10. Right now it's not on sale. It's $12.99 regularly. I think I picked it up $8 or $9, so well worth it. I probably got close to 20 hours in on it. So
seems pretty deep from what I'm looking through here with the skill tree and these runes and stuff you're talking about, and that there's a lot going to it.
Yeah. It's it borrows a lot from a lot of different games, kind of a mishmash. And I'm 20 hours in, but I haven't seen any of these other new worlds yet. And that's the only complaint I have. There's 3 worlds, and I don't think you can get to the second world until you've beaten the first 3 levels of the first world. I think there's maybe 6 tiers for each world. And it gets punishing. So I've done the first 2 levels of the first world, but I can't beat the third world yet.
So pretty much it ramps up every time.
Yeah. Like some of these weapons I'm seeing here, I haven't unlocked the other characters. I'm watching the same thing as you. Some of these weapons I've never seen before. So it's exciting about that, and it's also demoralizing because I'm not sure if I'll ever get to that level. We talked about Recoin, and we talked about Clair Obscura, so we need to go through those again. So I've been playing 3 other things here. The Cyberpunk had the update.
Yep.
The PS5 Pro update. I got to tell you, Matt, playing that at 90 frames per second on the PS5 Pro is a hell of a thing.
Man.
It looks unbelievable. So I don't have all the ray tracing stuff on, because you don't turn that stuff on when you're playing at that sort of performance 90 frames per second mode. I still think it looks stunning and so fluid,
I can bet.
Yeah. So that looked unbelievable. So I just poked around with that, and I'm trying to is that just I still haven't played the DLC in that game, and I started over. This is my 3rd playthrough. I've beaten the game twice already, and I told myself I was going to do the 3rd playthrough, and that's how I would experience the DLC, and I just haven't got the mojo to do that. But at some point, I need to play that DLC because I heard it's really good. And
that game's come a long way, man, on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it has. They keep iterating on it for sure.
Yeah.
I also fired up Skyrim because so many people have been playing Crimson Desert, and I'm not ready to pick up that game yet. So I got the itch to maybe try Skyrim instead for the umpteenth time. And so I fired it up on Steam, And that's when I ran into the issue that it wouldn't work with the PlayStation controller. And I don't know why. I don't know why on my Steam version the game launches so weird. Like you got this like sort of like little player that pops up, and then like the game launches behind it. And I was just getting. I couldn't remember where I was. I wasn't that far in the game. I was only like 90 minutes in, and so I was playing a little bit on PC, and I was just trying to fight anybody and everybody that was coming near me, and I was getting my ass kicked. And maybe because you couldn't really, you're not supposed to fight these sort of wardens and guards at this peaceful camp that you're at. Maybe they're OP, and I'm not supposed to be able to kill them. I don't know. So I said, fine, I'm just going to start completely over. And if I'm going to start completely over, I don't want to be tethered to my desk here. I want to play it on PlayStation. So I played for almost 2 hours last night, got to where I was on the PC version. I got to still tell you, the combat sucks ass in that game. And I know it's an outdated game, but boy, it doesn't feel like, the only thing I can really compare it to is like The Witcher, right? Those are the only games, Avowed, Witcher. And of course, those games, benefit of being more modern, and this Skyrim is sort of saddled with being a Bethesda game as well. Just the combat sucks ass. But
Skyrim was such a great game.
I know that. That's why I want to play it.
Oh my God, it was a great game. So huge and deep.
Yeah, so I have been playing that last night on PlayStation. Okay. Today I didn't work. It was my only day off. I worked 6 days in a row, and I'm working another 4 starting tomorrow. So today was my only day off, and I got a hankering to play Starfield.
Oh,
So I fired up Starfield on the Xbox. I did the update last night. I got to tell you, if you're going to put that on your Ally, that is a 172 gigabyte install.
Jesus Christ.
When you do the base game is something like 113 or 130 gigabytes, then the DLC. And they haven't found a way to make that a smaller install, huh?
I'm surprised, yeah.
Anyways, I started over on Xbox. I've already beaten the game once, and so I started over. That's a beautiful looking game. I'm playing that on uncapped frame rate on performance mode now. And I went back and said, all right, let me turn visual. They have the 2 modes, visual or performance. I turned performance off, put visual on at like 40 frames per second. And I was like, this feels like I'm walking in mud compared to the uncapped frame rate. So quickly went back to the other one. And I still think I couldn't really tell the difference. And that's what I was getting to talking about, like, can our eyes, this whole, PS6 stuff, are we going to be able to tell the difference? And for me, when I play Cyberpunk and I play Starfield, the way I can tell the difference is fluidity, athleticism of these games, to which you can get around, the mobility. I think that's what I'm looking for in my current and next-gen gaming. Is I don't feel like I am saddled by 30 frames per second. And even sometimes I'm going to be a snob and say 60 frames per second isn't good enough. So yeah, Starfield, I am, started a little bit of that, and I quickly got to like a place where I landed and have to go fight this boss. And I'm like, fuck, I got to traverse all around this fucking goddamn planet to go find this guy. I think later on in the game, you got vehicles. I don't think you get them right away.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they added vehicles.
Right. So, it's a long-winded way of saying, man, I don't know what I want to play next. Is it going to be Cyberpunk, Skyrim, Starfield, Clair Obscur? There's something in between all the tinkering and the games I'm playing on these Android devices. There's something I want to play with that's got some meat on it, and I haven't quite landed on what that is yet.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to finish up Clair Obscur, and then I did buy Crimson Desert. Yeah, PS5.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll probably end up playing that here eventually. That'll probably be the next thing.
One game that I know I'm going to be buying, it's coming out tomorrow. that I played the demo for that I absolutely loved. I want to talk about now. It's called Replaced. This is a game that's been in development for a while. Kind of a side scroller, beat 'em up, some shooting elements, heavy story stuff. It's a cyberpunk thriller. It's got a bit of platforming in it. It played unbelievably in the demo. I thought it was great. And it is, a pixel graphic game, but it is. I'm not sure if you're watching the.
I'm watching the video on Steam.
It's fucking really, really good.
Wow, the lighting and that, it looks, for a pixel game, it looks incredible.
Does.
That Castlevania feel to it.
Yep. So this one's been on my my radar for a couple of years now. It was always teased at the Xbox sort of events that they would have, E3 or whatever. So it's finally coming out.
Come out tomorrow.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to this as well. Decisions.
That looks pretty good.
Decisions will have to be made.
Yeah, unfortunately. Do you have an idea what the price of this is going to be? I just got the demo.
Some reason like $14 sticks out of my head, but let me is this on?
Hey, Pan.
Let me look, see if you can pre-order it like on PlayStation.
I
don't see anything on PlayStation yet. I could be totally off base with that. I'm not sure what
looks great.
Does. So yeah, this is definitely there's a demo. And one thing I want to talk about Steam is more and more games that I'm interested in are having demos. Remember when you were on the 360 era, everything had to have a demo?
Demo. Yep.
A lot of the games I'm interested in now have demos. So if anybody's on the fence for it. So yeah, they're estimating this game's going to be somewhere between $20 and $25. No one's got an exact price, but that's what they think it's going to be at.
I could see that being, yeah.
All right. Well, that was what we've been playing and what we've been up to. I thought Skyrim looked really good on the PlayStation 5. Not as good as it did on PC.
Yeah.
But on the PS5 Pro, I'm playing the special edition. I wasn't gonna pay the $20 to get to the most recent version that they released, Anniversary Edition or something like that. So I'm playing the special edition, special deluxe edition, something along those lines. All right, we got a couple news stories, and then we'll get out of your hair. Fable, Jeff Grubb of Giant Bomb said that he heard Fable was going to be potentially delayed, that they had an internal delay on the game to sort of get out of the GTA 6 release window. So as we know, Grand Theft Auto is due to come out September now, right?
November.
November, I'm sorry. Yeah, November. So Jeff Grubb says, I'll say that I've heard that Fable has been pushed internally. That doesn't mean that it's coming out next year. Apparently, they're still trying to get it out this year, but they are worried about the launch of Grand Theft Auto 6, and so it's getting delayed beyond the release of GTA 6. That could push it into December, which might make it a prime candidate to get delayed into 2027. I think Fable's either social media handles pushed back on that today and said there's no internal delay, that they're still committed to releasing the game this fall. So,
I think if they were smart, they would release it before Grand Theft Auto. Get them sales in before that comes out, so people could have something to play while they're waiting for Grand Theft Auto to come out or something like that. Because once Grand Theft Auto comes out, there's no one's going to be buying much of anything else.
yeah.
But if you get out before that, a few weeks before. People will buy it, play it for a couple weeks. Grand Theft Auto comes out, and then that dies down, and people go back and play it again.
I don't think these. I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth here, which is not unusual. I don't think you would take the average Fable person as someone who would play Grand Theft Auto, but I think Grand Theft Auto is such a media. What's the word I want to use here? Sort of juggernaut, unicorn, cornerstone, exception to the rule, whatever you want to say. Like you could say, people that play Fable aren't playing Call of Duty, right? You could, but I think a lot of people, out of curiosity, and a lot of people just want to, for whatever reason. Grand Theft Auto, we know, is going to do huge numbers. It's going to pull in people that aren't gamers. It's going to pull in gamers who are curious. And so, yeah, I get Microsoft and anybody else's point saying, let's just get out of the way. Let's not have our games swallowed up. Even if people aren't necessarily not buying the game, there'll be no coverage of it. Everything, you know what I mean? Like it might still sell well, but maybe no one's talking about it because everybody's just talking about Grand Theft Auto.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
Nope, it does. It does. It'll be the marketing will be there for Grand Theft Auto. I mean, there'll be good marketing for Fable, but it won't be as large as Grand Theft Auto for sure.
Yeah. So, they denied it. We'll see what happens. A game that is coming out here very soon, Pragmata from Capcom. Capcom's having a hell of a run here with the Resident Evil games, Monster Hunter. And here they are. Pragmata's getting like 87 on OpenCritic, 85 on Metacritic. I think a majority of the reviews that I've seen are somewhere in the 8 or 9s. A few 7s here or there. The game, when I played the demo that's on Steam and other places, but I played it on Steam. I didn't play it all the way through because I enjoyed it so much that I didn't want to get spoiled with it. It definitely plays like an action shooter, but you have this android girl on your shoulder who hacks your enemies, so your shooting mechanics become more powerful. So you got to be quick on your feet. You know what I mean? She does the hacking where you're trying to shoot, and you as the player got to do both. And so it's a unique twist. But I get Dead Space vibes here and there. I get a little bit of Prey, a little bit of Vanquish. If anybody remembers the Vanquish game. So this is compelling. It's not a $70 game. It's a $60 game, so $59.99. A single-player game. By all accounts, I listened to Digital Foundry today. They say it runs really well. And everybody's...
Looks great.
People that I respect their opinions says they're having a lot of fun with it, that it's a unique game, a game that needs to be celebrated. What a lot of people are saying is these are the type of games that people are pushing for, and now it's time to put up or shut up. Are you going to buy it or are you not? Because here comes Capcom with something different, a new IP. You can't say come up with a new idea anymore. Here's a new idea, and we'll see if people are going to buy it or if it's just going to be a dud.
The action, the gunplay looks pretty solid.
Oh yeah, it felt really good too. Yeah, for sure. And the hair on that girl, it's like
Oh my God, it's real. It looks
uncanny.
Yeah, it is wild.
An old Mike probably would have picked that up, no problem, day one. So now maybe, now I got another game I got to add to the Marathon Crimson Desert pile, and I got to put Pragmata on it. I'll pick it up here sooner than later. some other fish to fry in the meantime. But definitely on my list of things to play. It definitely looks different. I don't play a lot. I don't play a lot of Capcom games. You know, I don't play the Resident Evil games or the Monster Hunter games. So, geez, maybe the last Capcom game I might have played was like Street Fighter 6, something like that, which I thought was unbelievable looking game as well. And these are all games, all these Resident Evil games and the Monster Hunter games and Pragmata, they're doing it all with their own engine. Right, they're not doing Unreal Engine 5 or Unity or whatever other engines are out there. This is all in-house engine, just like some of these other studios do their own in-house as well, rather than going the Unreal route like Witcher's doing.
It's wild.
Good engine talk, Blue Man Rule. Larry loves his in-game engine, so got to fit it in. The last two things here are interesting. Out of nowhere, a free-to-play Borderlands game hit iOS, so it's not an Android. All these years I've just been an iOS guy, right? And I don't play any games on my phone. Now I have all these Android devices, and the fucking game's not coming out. Things not coming out on Android. But this is just supposedly like a limited time test on the iPhone. It's a brand new free-to-play Borderlands game, quietly published today by mobile giant Zynga, developed by British studio Natural Motion, which previously worked on Star Wars Hunters. Currently exists on the App Store as part of a limited-time test. Borderlands creator Gearbox was involved simply in an advisory role. Zynga says we're always exploring new ways to introduce Borderlands to new audiences. Zynga's Natural Motion Studio is currently conducting a limited-time test for an untitled Borderlands mobile project with Gearbox providing creative guidance on the franchise's design, history, and lore. We hope that players enjoy this new Borderlands experience and look forward to their feedback. So it's a free-to-play epic looter shooter. And the only thing I got to say about that is I wish it was on Android. I'd try it out.
Don't look bad.
Nope. Just I don't want to put it on my phone.
Yeah.
And the last thing we got here, I'm not sure if you have the update yet, Matt. I don't have it as of last night.
I do not.
Sony is testing a new PlayStation 5 dashboard design, which many fans are hoping full themes will be coming next. So one thing about Xbox, right? The UI didn't change from 1X to Series X. Just the machine got more powerful.
Yeah.
And so many people like myself said, I didn't really feel like a difference. It didn't feel like anything was new or fresh or exciting. But everything that you were used to before still works now and theoretically should be better. When you went from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, the whole UI changed. And so on the PlayStation 4, over time, you got themes, you got folders, etc. And here we are coming up, on 6 years of the PlayStation 5 this fall? And we still don't have themes. You still don't have folders. You wonder why sometimes those things just aren't easy to bring over, why they're not a priority. But anyways, they're testing out a new PlayStation 5 update, which would give a fresh design for the console's dashboard. I'm looking at it. It seems like some of the items that there's basically two tiers, menu tiers across the screen, right? So you got your usual game bar.
Yeah.
The XMB media bar where you can go left to right to cycle your games. And then you can press L1 or R1 and jump up to this other level where you can bounce to PSN Plus, the store, your controller, your captures, music. So it's a two-tiered menu rather than having everything straight across. We'll see. Maybe to people's point, that is themes because it's giving you more real estate on the screen. I'm not sure if that's the case or not.
Yeah, I just spent a couple weeks ago on my PS5. I didn't know you could customize like the different tiles.
Oh yeah, for
the order of those
for the welcome screen.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll affect that or not because I just spent a lot of time making that look pretty good for me.
Well, with your luck, probably. You know how you go out and. Have you still tracked down that DLC yet for Battlefield? TBD.
Yeah, TBD.
Yeah. No, I haven't got the update. I'm not sure if they're just testing this in certain regions or if it's part of a beta program. Maybe it's in the beta program. I have stopped I am invited into all those betas. Not that I've had a bad experience. I've just, I don't know if it's laziness or whatever, or just my enthusiasm to be cutting edge has waned over the years. I've stopped redeeming the codes when they come in. Maybe because there just hasn't been enough compelling stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look at it and go, I guess, okay, sure. I don't see a problem with the way it is now, but change is inevitable, so we'll deal with it.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That was our show here, the news. Exciting stuff. Some disappointing stuff with maybe pricing.
Yeah.
There is talk of maybe the Ramageddon is not going to be as bad as that. There's maybe the bubble is bursting here on some of this AI stuff.
Yeah, that'd be good. Get some of these prices down. Get the supply chain back up and going.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just be happy to gas go down.
You and me both, buddy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I'm looking at my phone here. I see maybe that we're going to be summoned again for some more negotiations. So.
Oh, really? Well, let's get the plane tickets ready to go. Pack your bag, Mike. Well,
duty calls. Purveyors of
duty
peace.
calls. Yep.
All right. Well, it was good chatting with you, sir.
You too, sir. Glad we're back.
Yes, and we'll be back, as time allows.
As time allows. Yes.
Your pants off. Just clap your hands and move your legs. We're gonna